How's
I am good.
everything?
How are you? I am good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I was just catching up on few, race highlights that I had missed. So yeah.
Okay.
Like, were you able to watch the Atlanta race?
Yeah. The Sunday race was a lot. Cup race was a lot.
I mean, the end was like the photo finish. That was epic.
Yeah.
Uh, I was blown away. I was like, the best few hours of my life. I haven't watched such a race in a very long while. So yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah, it was compared to how it started to how it ended was much better.
True. True. Thank you for taking time to, have a talk with Essentially Sports and doing an exclusive with us. It
Yeah,
really means a
absolutely.
lot. Can you talk about your, racing journey? You started from go-kart racing at a very young age, and then you went on to, NASCAR Truck Series. So, can you talk about few of the pivotal movements or experiences, that kind of shaped this career for you?
Yeah, so it started as go-kart racing at the age of 3. Just something my dad got me into kind of, hey, let's do go-karting is fun for kids. And then the more and more we karted, the more and more realized like I was succeeding in karting and gaining championships and all these wins and he's like, well, okay, well, we might have something here. And then I kind of like took more of a love to it than it was just something I was doing on Saturday. Like I loved it. I wanted it to be more. Well, you'd watch NASCAR racing on Sundays and you'd go watch the big racers at the big track and you're like, man, I want to do that. And I'm like, you know what? I've got the talent. Let's like I want to go as far as I can. So continued go-karting and then moved into like big dirt racing, started racing sprint cars and stuff. And then I got really lucky and I met a driver and that was basically my in for NASCAR. And that started October of 2019 and then um, COVID hit, so it obviously kind of shut motorsports and everything down for a while. So that really altered the process, honestly, I think, because my debut was scheduled to be January of that year, and I had done some test session stuff with a late model and truck, and then the pandemic hit, and that's kind of what canceled everything. So picked back up a year later from that standpoint, starting the ARCA race at Daytona, and then did ARCA at Daytona for a couple of years, and then made my truck debut that year as well. So just stuff after getting into the NASCAR atmosphere and that realm, that's when stuff really started to pick up for the NASCAR career.
I mean, you were with Fast Track Racing and then RBR. Yeah, if I said it right. RBR Racing. Yeah, Ryomi Brothers. Yeah. So, what was the experience like? Uh, can Were both teams, really supportive towards your racing career and sponsorships and everything?
Yeah, they were. With the start of that, you know, choosing those, it wasn't anything I'd say that was methodically thought out at the start. It was more of a wow, like I get to do this, whatever chance you get, let's take. So it was great getting to start there and for them to give me the opportunity for that to be my start and then continue to grow and build relationships to one, get into a better race car the next year, and be fastest of practice and stuff at Daytona, which was a huge thing. I was the only car that wasn't a Venerini car in the top 5. And so I thought that was really cool. The next year when we got into that car, as far as the truck stuff, it's just such a different style of racing because they're so different. So especially on the dirt, considering I only had the dirt aspect and the got to race the dirt races, so it was completely different. They're definitely not made for that. So it was trying to understand how real truck racing was. I wouldn't say I've even gotten the handle on that quite yet, just because I haven't taken on a mile and a half, a super speedway in the trucks yet. So to try and understand the real racing of how those trucks handles, I wouldn't say I've got quite a grasp on that yet.
Yeah, transitioning from sprint cars to, stock cars is always difficult for most drivers. So that must have been a huge challenge for you, I'm assuming.
It was a huge challenge. There's really no correlation. I mean, obviously, anything with driving a race car, you'll share some correlations of just understanding how to drive. But as far as the actual way that they drive and the way that you drive the car for it to perform is completely opposite ends of the spectrum there. And so it was definitely a learning curve, and it's still every time you go onto the racetrack, it's a learning curve. Like you should be growing and learning more every time you step on the racetrack in your craft, no matter how long that you're in it.
Definitely. You made history as the first openly, LGBTQ driver to compete in ARCA sanctioned events, and then later you went on to NASCAR Truck Series, where I think after Stephen Rhodes, you're the first person to actually bring this movement forward. This is a huge milestone, and what does it mean for you personally, and for the broader racing community in general?
Yeah, it means a lot, and I don't think I see it quite as that. Understanding of what a huge thing that is. Like it's history books in one of the giant pieces of professional sports that we have in the world. To make history within one of those is a astronomical thing, and so I think that's really cool. To one, know that I have that, but to be able to keep continuing and growing with that, to one, grow my career, but also to grow a whole different fan base for stock car and NASCAR racing, but three, also open up a whole new world for kids who are like myself that would never see themselves in this position, scared of who they were or scared of letting people know who they are, who they truly are. So I think with that transition and that change from where things were in the previous year to seeing what we have now, I think it's going to be really good for our sport, hopefully, and also really good for our community. It's merging two completely different worlds that were never merged in previous years.
I mean, you know, NASCAR is traditionally kind of a male-dominated sport. So I'm pretty sure this must have presented its own set of challenges for you as well. So this is a huge deal, for kids look up to you, new upcoming racers who are, they kind of feel like a kindred spirit, I would say. They kind of jump with that. So, but
Yeah.
did it like ever, a present challenge for you, or like, in NASCAR community?
Um, I would say most people that I've come in contact with within NASCAR, whether that is competitors, whether that is crew guys, engineers, anything else outside of that that you deal with in motorsports, I'd say everyone's been pretty good for the most part. You have your few people who make comments, but you're going to have that regardless of whether you're a female in the industry, whether you're an African American in the industry, whether you're a gay person in the industry, or whether you're a normal straight white male in the industry who people just don't like because you may win, you may take out their favorite driver. Regardless, when you are in the public eye, you are opened up for scrutiny. And so um, it's never really been a thing that bothers me. I almost use that as fuel to go and just keep building off of that and use that as more of a drive to just be kind of like I'm still doing it and I'm here, and it's you're sitting behind a keyboard or you can say something from the other side, but I'm actually out here doing it.
Definitely. And like, can you also tell me about, any upcoming projects or initiatives that you're involved in? both like NASCAR and beyond NASCAR, something related to advocating LGBTQ rights and promoting diversity, which is a huge part at the moment in NASCAR as well, promoting diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have a lot more races on my schedule than last year. Last year was the least amount of racing I've ever done in my life since I started. And so that was a very hard thing for me to swallow, was the minimal amount of racing that I did. And that was wasn't a transition, but that was a hard period of time, um, struggling to find rides and find funding for what little I had. So knowing that I'm doing a significant amount more this year is a big thing. I can't announce what races I'm doing yet, but I can tell you that I will be running a pro late model this year. I'll be running some ARCA races in the ARCA Menard series. I'll also be running sprint car races, USAC midget races, extreme midget races, and then micro races as well. So a lot of different types of racing, and a lot of different areas to just keep continuing my resume.
No, it will be really great to see you on track, especially the Arca series, which I'm very fond of. So yeah, we would really love to have you, back on the track after a while. So that's
Yeah,
something I'm
absolutely.
guessing you're excited about that as well.
I am. I'm very excited, and I'm very excited to announce that it's coming very soon. And it's multiple races, so that's very exciting too.
Like, I can imagine like these are multiple different, not just tracks, but different series. So it's going to be quite challenging for you as well, in physical capacity as well as mental capacity. So
Absolutely. And I've thought a lot about that. You can do all the sim work and stuff, but not having the previous, a lot of your people in the Arkham Menard series or in the NASCAR Truck Series, Xfinity Cup Series, they have time and laps at all these racetracks that I don't, because one, I'm still new and still growing, but I haven't gotten to run a full season, to run all these different tracks that these people haven't experienced at. So I think that's something that's a little harder too. You think about, like, oh man, like going to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the first time, you can run as much as you want to on the sim, but having actual true laps there, and running with other cars and understanding the racetrack, because there's not one similar or one racetrack that's similar to another. They're all different and unique in their own way, which makes racing so unique because everything is so different. So I think that is going to be a little bit of a downfall of mine, not having all the experience, let alone at all these racetracks, but just pavement experience. I come from a dirt world, and my pavement experience is very, very minimal compared to what my dirt is. And so I'm excited to grow it and excited for the opportunity. But I think that I wouldn't say I come in at a lower hand, but definitely not as experienced as what most of your other guys are in the field.
are there, can you hint at any new partnership or sponsorship on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so that's actually what is allowing me to go racing this year, is some new partners and new sponsors. They'll be announced with the races, because it's a full primary sponsorship, excuse me, coming with all of this racing. So it'll be coming soon. It's different sponsors here for this race, this race, different one for this one, and for all the different series as well, between ARCA, between late models, between midgets, sprint cars, micros. It's a lot has come together, and so I'm very excited to be announcing it. A lot of it's going to be coming out very soon, so I can't wait.
We can't wait to watch you race as well. Moving forward, there was, one thing that I wanted to ask. You mentioned that you're a huge Jeff Gordon fan. Can you talk about, how influential he was? Because obviously he's a NASCAR veteran who almost, I think, everyone loves. So,
Yeah.
were there any specific aspects in his journey, that you were fascinated about? Like, what was that?
So I would say My dad was a huge Jeff Gordon fan, and that kind of developed me into liking Jeff. But then understanding, how great of a race car driver he was. I mean, like I said earlier, a lot of people are going to hate you because you win a lot, or you wrecked their favorite driver, or they're going to have reasons to dislike you. But you cannot deny that Jeff Gordon was a phenomenal race car driver, multi-time champion, just a great race car driver. And now to see what he's building as one of the executives of Hendrick Motorsports, it's wild how that has done a full circle. And so to see how he's grown his career, and now what he did as his craft, and now is growing as Hendrick Motorsports, it's really cool to see. The first time I got to meet Jeff was at Knoxville, Iowa for Knoxville Nationals, when David Gravel ran the full Exalta scheme. And so I got to meet Jeff there. And then now being down here in North Carolina, in pretty much the heart of NASCAR, I've had, multiple run-ins with Jeff at different things. And it's cool now to know, I used to watch him as a kid on TV and be like, wow, like just so amazed that, wow, Jeff Gordon and this. And now you see Jeff at the racetrack, or you see Jeff at this event, or I see Jeff at this meeting, that, it's crazy now to think like Jeff Gordon knows who I am. I can ask Jeff this, and it's so crazy to say that, but it's just crazy what life can do.
Gets its own bragging rights. I'm pretty sure this has its own bragging rights. Jeff Gordon knows my name, so like it should be branded on a t-shirt. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. You are an outsider in this world, and then you get into the world. Well, then you start competing in the world and competing against some of these people. They're just normal humans like we all are, and from the outside world, you don't see it as that. They're superstars that you could only dream of meeting, and then you become friends with them, and you become acquaintances with them, and you become multiple things, and it's crazy how it all does full circle. And then you have
Uh,
people who, like me, were on the outside of the sport for so long that now I'm in the position that I am of racing and doing some things, and I have people that are on the outside looking at me that way, and it's pretty cool how that does come around.
I mean, yeah, and it's a very good experience. I feel like not just good, I'll say, amazing experience to have, not just kind of interact with these people who have you have been looking up to at, a certain point, and then at like, after a while you're competing with them. That might also happen, for few of the racers. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, you look up to a few cup drivers and you must be like, someday I'm gonna race you.
Yeah, and that's happened. I mean, I look at some of the guys that I have competed against, and I'm like I competed against him, or I beat this person here. It's crazy to I still it's like a pinch me dream moment of when I see my name in a lineup, or I see my name in the same driver lineup as this, or affiliated with this. It's still a pinch me moment. Like, that's not real, and so it's still cool.
I mean, this year's ARCA schedule is also, packed with a lot of amazing drivers. You have some, really good drivers. You have Tanner Gray, you have Tony Beiringer, and everyone. So, is there someone, you're really looking forward to competing against?
I think it's just competing with a lot of them. I mean, you have a lot of veterans in the ARCA field as well that have been running ARCA for years, that I am looking forward to gaining some knowledge from them as well, and learning from them of what they have to teach me and what they have to say and show me. But also, racing against these people that are coming up through the development programs that are good. There's a reason that they're in that. There's a reason that they are being developed by a manufacturer. So to race with them and see what they're learning as well, but also that competitive edge makes you just a little more competitive as well, to understand like they're doing this to keep building and I am too in a retrospect, but not at the level that they are, just due to funding and not being carried by manufactured backing. And so it's a little different, but that competitive edge that you grow from that, and that, not rivalry, but the competitiveness, learn that edge as well, because I don't have a lot of experience with these drivers. It's been a few select races here and there.
I mean, see, apparently, I thought I knew a lot about what was gonna go around the season, but I barely know, like, a pinch about it because new things, keep popping up, and I'm like, okay, so this driver's competing, this driver's making a comeback, so there's a lot of stuff happening. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Pretty because I wasn't aware that when I had a talk with you that you were gonna compete in this year's ARCA series, and so now
Yeah.
like I'm like, okay, now there are I have someone else also again to root for, one more driver to root for, so like that's exciting.
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely super excited. And I think once I announce my plans, there'll be some moments of, oh, okay, that makes sense, of little things that I've been doing here and there, that that makes sense, and we'll tie everything together of what my plans and what my races are. It'll kind of, if you would piece, this and this and this together, it'll all make sense.
Okay. So obviously, I can guess that you can't really, tell me about the sponsors at this point because you'll have to announce it you'll have to get a press release and everything. But can I actually just get a hint about, manufacturer? Like, will it be Chevy, Ford, Toyota, maybe,
Um,
or multiple options, for different races?
um, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not.
And
um,
I get you, but
yeah, I just I
totally.
don't know if I can say that one yet, just because like nothing's been announced and it hasn't been announced with this team yet. So I don't think I can.
And that's totally fine. Obviously, it's my job to pry into these things
Yes.
and kind of try to get these inputs. But yeah, you're maintaining that perfect demeanor and having like, no, I'm not gonna let out any secrets. So yeah, kudos to that as well. Thank you so much for taking taking the time from your day. Like, I'm pretty sure your schedule must be jam packed at this time, like with like so many things on your plate. So this is something really amazing that you took some time apart to have a conversation with us here. Just to end this on a quick note, what is the message that you would like to send to your fans and the racing community in NASCAR and ARCA?
Yeah. So, we all have dreams, and we really don't ever think that we'll reach those dreams. They're a fantasy. It's a dream. A dream is a fantasy that lives inside of your head, and you never think of reaching them. And I wouldn't say that I've reached it to 100%, but I'm up in that fantasy, and you can do it. You would have told me that I could have run a couple truck races now, and I was living down here in North Carolina in the heart of NASCAR, and be friends with the people that I'm friends with, and know the connections that I am, and I would have laughed in your face. Don't ever give up, and don't ever let there be a roadblock blocking you from keeping that drive and driving towards your goal, no matter how big, no matter how small. I felt that mine was pretty significant, and that there was a reason that I would have never reached my dreams because of who I was, and what my sexuality was. But I don't feel that that always defines who I am. I can get out there and I can strap my helmet and put my belts on just like anybody else can. I can go out there and drive just like anybody else can, regardless of what else I do or who I am. I'm here to race and I'm here to win, and I'm going to be here to race and I'm going to be here to win.
I mean, I'm gonna quote this line to line for the articles. So yeah, this was actually not just inspiring, it was really beautiful. Like
Oh, thanks.
yeah, your message for the community in NASCAR. That is what drew me to actually come up with this concept, and I was like, I would really want to talk to this person. I really gonna talk to Devon and get I kind of want to get into your head and just want to understand, what he went through and what this person is thinking about, because this person has achieved a huge milestone in racing. So yeah, it was a very
Absolutely.
beautiful message.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for, having a chat with us, even though we took quite a bit of time,
Oh,
chunk of your evening, but yeah, thank you so
that
much.
is no
And
problem. I appreciate it.
definitely, and, do keep us updated, do keep me updated on, your sponsors, and when the press release will happen, we'll definitely get in touch with that as well.
Awesome. I can do that.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.